Hi, it's Andy Phillips here for Pin Academy, and I'm with Simon. Could you do your second name, because I can never get it right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Actually, people call me Mischief just out of short, simply because they can't pronounce Misiewicz.
Misiewicz.
So it's Misiewicz.
Misiewicz.
Like you've got an itch.
That's right. Right,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so Simon, you'll be talking about tax tonight,
Indeed.
and we've just sort of caught a bit of a quiet moment before the Pin meeting tonight at Canary Wharf. We're at Canary Wharf tonight.
Yep.
Can you give us a bit of an idea of what your talk's about and how it can help property investors?
Absolutely. Well, the key thing is that people will buy properties and get the better return on investment. And the problem is with that is that the people buy properties, but then they throw money away. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're earning lots of money, but you're paying the tax man, what was the point of buying the property in the first place?
Right, okay.
So really the idea behind it is not just to look at the right properties, the return on investment, but how you keep the money in your own pocket.
So it's how to help you to retain cash through incentives, I guess, is it?
Absolutely. So I look at two key strategies.
Yeah.
One is really looking at your tax that you pay, but also your VAT.
Right, okay, so it's other money strategies, not just tax strategies, it's other money
Absolutely
strategies
not.
as well.
Yeah.
So what other sort of things can people do?
Well, the idea behind it is if you're looking to buy properties, what's the point of buying at market value?
Right.
You're not really going to be making any extra money, especially when you remortgage. So the idea behind it is that you buy a property at 75k when it's worth 100. You spend might be 5-10k on it on refurb, then you refinance, so you pull all your money back out. So the key strategy is really not just keeping money in your back pocket once you've done the refurb and refinance, but it's how you make money out of your property.
So what will people necessarily need to do to actually increase the cash flow, or to increase the money that they're going to make on that property later on, maybe?
Yeah, that's a great question. My view is, and I've been doing this for years, but buying properties that are a little bit run down, you know, and you might get £400 worth of rent. But once you do something quite nice to it, so I mean magnolia wallpaper, wall paint everywhere, but the idea behind it is principally get a nice kitchen in there, because most of the time that people spend is in the kitchen, in the bathroom. So make it look nice, you know, and you're going to increase your rent from £400 to £500 per month.
So these
it's
are all key areas that you're talking about. So bathroom, kitchen.
Yeah.
What about bedrooms and things like that? Is it worth sort of spending a bit of cash in those?
I would say that typically people will do their own bedrooms half the night, but it's an empty room, so you don't have a bed in there. You'll just have an empty room that people visualise what they're going to have. So I would keep that as plain as simple as possible, really, for me.
Do you also talk about sort of the tax situation when people are selling property?
Not in this conversation tonight. That is a separate event that we'll be doing. But the principal idea is really about the refurbishment. So we'll talk about, yes, reducing the cost of the refurb itself, but also what is tax allowable. Because people can get confused in terms of, well, what can I offset against my tax? So when you've done the refurb, I always say it's better to get the taxman to pay for your refurb. And what I mean by that is you put your refurb cost in and you can decrease your taxable income.
So you're talking about the costs that you're using to, or the money you're using to refurbish a property.
Yeah.
Can be used, what, against tax? Is that how
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So what is that called? Was that?
It's capital allowances,
Right,
and we're going to be talking in the presentation about replacement cost and repairs. So let's imagine that you've got a kitchen and it looks an eyesore. You've seen the kitchens where the door's falling off.
I've had a few of those. So.
Yeah, you and me both, I think, on that one. Or you've got a bathroom whereby the shower curtain's falling off, or it's got cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea behind it is that you are replacing those assets. So those costs are replacement. Therefore, it's 100% tax allowable. So the idea behind it is that you're saving a lot of money by doing that.
And do you need to go through someone like yourself to, like, would a landlord need to go through someone like yourself to get that sorted out, or can they do it themselves? What's the sort of situation with that?
That's a great question. My view is that through our presentation that we'll be doing tonight, people will get to know how they can do it themselves.
Right, okay.
My view is that you shouldn't need an accountant always. Just get a view, maybe at the end of the year, but all the way through the process, have that mindset. Have an understanding of, if I'm going to go into this property, what costs can be offset against my tax? Because it really helps you understand what your return investment is. Because typically people say return investment is how much money you get back from an investment. But hold on, if you are refurbing at 10 grand and you're getting 20% off from your tax, actually you've only spent 8,000. So return on investment's even more than what you actually thought it was.
Because a lot of times we often talk about using professionals, outsourcing certain parts of our business to professionals. And would you say it would be a good idea to outsource something like this to you within a project? So if I was doing a project to refurbish a property, I don't particularly want to get involved in tax. I can't stand tax. I don't do my own tax. I give it to my accountant. I just don't do it.
Sounds
don't do VAT.
Idea.
Don't do anything like that. No paperwork, basically. I give it to other people to do, and I pay them to do it because it makes me feel better at the end of the day. And if I was doing a refurbishment, I would want to get someone involved to do my tax, to make sure that I was getting the most back, because it's got to be a great return. The money that I would give you, you're saving me so much more than that. So
absolutely. Well, Spike, who's on the PIN circuit already, we're just about to recoup about 16 to 18 grand's worth of VAT. Mainly because he was trying to do everything himself, and Spike's very good at that. He's very good at getting his hands dirty.
Absolutely, yes.
But I took him aside and said, "Tell me what you're doing on your project," and then I said, "You could reduce your VAT." So we're now putting that process together. So we saved him about 15, 16 grand in just VAT reclaim, which he's delighted with, I'm sure you imagine.
Absolutely, I can imagine. I can see his face, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
See his face right now.
He's probably thinking of a joke right now for us.
Absolutely,
So the idea behind it is get an expert on board. What I would say is whenever you're looking at capital allowances, have a good understanding. It's almost like switching on the light switch and the lights come on. It's good to have an awareness, but you're right. It's always better to have an expert so you can just focus on buying the properties.
It just makes good financial sense, to outsource something. So if you want to know a little bit more about what Simon does, come down to one of the PIN meetings where he's doing a talk. Do you know when you're talking next?
I'm going to be around the London area, and I've just spoke at Southampton, but back in there in December. I'm likely to be in Bournemouth in the next couple of months as well.
Fantastic, because we'll feature a lot more of what Simon does anyway, because it is incredibly important. So, but if you can get down to a PIN meeting, come see what Simon's talking about, and have a chat with him afterwards, and start getting involved. If you're actually in the middle of doing a refurbishment, then it's a great time to come down and bend the ear of an expert. That's what I say. That's what I always do anyway. So, Simon, thanks very much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Cheers.